That's right back, Charlie.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Now, once again, Kylian Mbappe has been linked with Arsenal. Whether you believe we have the facilities or will sign him is another thing, which I don't. Timber allegedly is back in training next week, according to the knows on the internet and things. You know, again, rumors swirling around that Jorginho potentially could sign a new deal, which I don't necessarily believe. If anything, where Jorginho is concerned, surely the club invoke, or better yet, trigger the 1 year option on his contract, and then like last season will be his next season. Well, next season, sorry, will be his last season. That's assuming he doesn't want to go to Italy, go to Brazil, get a payday in Saudi Arabia, etc., etc. Big up Jorginho and everybody who participated along with the coaching staff for the Liverpool game. Now let's get into it. Again, smash the like button. Don't forget to make the creative juices start flowing, and leave a comment when the video is done and also when it premieres, and subscribe if you haven't. And appreciative of you lot tuned in. Now, the Independent's Miguel Delaney is speaking about Kylian Mbappe. I'm sure you would have seen the Romanos, etc., etc. Kylian Mbappe is being linked with a free transfer to Real Madrid for next season. What a super team they'll have. You know, there are some rumors that they could be selling Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., Martinelli, Jesus, Big Gabriel. Get on the phone and bring one of them to the carpet, really and truly. You know, players apart from Danny Ceballos, but players we signed for Real Madrid, Mesut Ozil, Odegaard, it works out all right. Now, Real Madrid could have a super team. And I think them three players, including Mbappe, I think they could all coexist. You know, Mbappe could play up front, Vinicius could stay on the left, they could alternate. Rodrigo speaks about how he doesn't actually like to play up front and can play in the 10. Obviously, they've got the Bellinghams, the Tchouaménis, the Arda Gulers, the Camavingas, the Valverdes. The list goes on and on and on, people. Now, it's probably expected that Kylian Mbappe goes to Real Madrid, if I'm completely honest with you. You know, it's the pinnacle of football. You know, they're the top, in my opinion, the best side in Europe. I know Manchester City won the Champions League, so you probably would say them, rightly so. Nonetheless, Miguel Delaney of The Independent is saying Real Madrid's offer to Kylian Mbappe so far hasn't been to the satisfaction of the player or his entourage. Potential switches to Liverpool or Arsenal have been explored, but neither wants to break their wage structure to go for him. So why hasn't it been linked with Kylian Mbappe? Now, if there's anyone willing to, you know, if there's players that you should be breaking structures and all of those sort of things, it is for typically the Lionel Messi, the Cristiano Ronaldos, the Neymars, the Mbappes, and the list goes on and on and on. And if Arsenal want to get to that level, we need to be developing these players of our own or bringing them in. And, you know, we were heard, you know, did Glazides not say we want to be Real Madrid and Barcelona and Bayern Munich level? This is how you do it. That being said, though, Mbappe is going to come with a lot of baggage. You know, he's, even if he made an intermediate step to Arsenal or Liverpool, you know, the Real Madrid things will not go away, even though I'd love the guy at the carpet. The closest thing we would get to Thierry Henry, in the same vein that Mesut Ozil's regen is Martin Odegaard at this moment in time. But I can't see us breaking our wage structure. You know, we have got a couple of players on big wages and we're struggling to shift them off. But generally, since Arteta and Edu have come in, as you lot know, we've kind of on the right track with renewing deals, with giving contracts. Obviously, Kai Havertz is one of our biggest earners. If you're Kylian Mbappe, you're looking at that and thinking, boy, I need a lot more than that. In my opinion, he'll have to take a wage cut to leave Real Madrid, to join Real Madrid. Sorry, you're not going to get what PSG are giving you. That don't mean you're not going to be paid handsomely. And I'm sure he gets paid other ways. And I'm sure, you know, he'll negotiate his image rights and all of that sort of stuff. And you also have to remember that, you know, Kylian Mbappe is one of those players that there's only a select few clubs he could go to. You know, in general, he could play for all the powerhouses in Europe, but there's only a couple of clubs. Obviously, one option is probably unlikely, but it's not set in stone. What he's doing is to stay at PSG, is to go to a Real Madrid. Barcelona are in trouble financially, so that's ruling them out. Manchester City, I'm sure, would be interested in him, but for Pep Guardiola's men haven't been named there, you know, and clubs of that ilk, really. So it is a Real Madrid thing. You probably get a good signing on fee fee and a handsome wage. Probably will be their top earner or one of them. Will get a couple of contract renewals in the time he spends at Real Madrid, but he's not going to get whatever he's on now. Not that I'm pocket watching. Apparently, for what it's worth, Real Madrid are yet to agree wages with Mbappe, but he's still expected to join this summer. And obviously, the Premier League have money, you know. And on top of that, Bayern Munich would take Kylian Mbappe. I'm sure he would listen to what they have to say, but financially, it wouldn't make sense. If the move does eventually happen, he'll most likely earn less than he could at PSG, says the Independent. So there you have it. And apparently he'll get 150 million euro signing on fee from Real Madrid. So you've got his signing on fee, probably not got to negotiate his image rights, the wages he's going to get. Oh, listen, he's a quality footballer. I don't care about none of this. But there will be a knock-on effect for renewing contracts at the club already and bringing in other players. And you know, Mbappe, you're not going to be able to carry on with that foolishness that you do at PSG, where respectfully to PSG, you know, it's his club really and truly, or definitely since he's been there, he cries, they give him whatever he wants. It's like a spoiled child. Real Madrid, you're going to be in for a rude awakening if you try and behave like that. And I think he knows that, you know, Duppy really know you for frightened in this life. And I'm sure Mikel Arteta won't give a flying monkeys who you are, what you've done. If you try to do that foolishness at Arsenal, boy, it might not end well. But would love Mbappe, but it's a pipe dream. Now, again, I'm not saying these ITKs know or don't know what they're doing or saying people. I just don't know, but it makes for a good video. Allegedly, Timber is set to rejoin full training in the coming weeks. Massive boost for the squad. Now, that would be a good step because he's back doing what he's, you know, wants to do and be a professional footballer, able to resume his life as from a footballing point of view at the club that he was a boyhood fan, and he made such a great initial impression, able to aid us this season. Again, I'm not too sure for Timber because joining training is one thing, as we know. Joining full contact training is another. How fit and able to play in any games he is. And I do think Arsenal should take a cautious approach with this crucial injury that he suffered, an ACL. He's been out for a while. You know, it does seem like when you read up about ACLs and things online, it's not that Timber isn't making great progress, but it's in line with the timeline of the recovery, if that makes sense. And players do pick up a lot of injuries and stuff, and, you know, bring him back at the right time. Would love to see Timber back, you know, respectfully to Zinchenko, but he, you know, he's got question marks over him defensively. Obviously, he's come off injured at half-time against Liverpool. Between him and Kyrgios, they're doing all right, but they're not really the guys. You know, Tomiyasu picks up injuries, but you'd love to have a Tomiyasu and a Timber when it comes to seeing out games. Definitely when it comes to even, I know Zinchenko and Kyrgios did all right, but going into the Liverpool game, etc., etc. And, you know, Timber gives us a lot of flexibility. He can play in a number of roles, essentially. So would love to see him back, but I won't count my chickens before they hatch. You know, Leroy Sané is contracted at Bayern Munich until 2025, and rumours of a return to the Premier League won't go away. I believe he's going to sign a new deal, so I'm not going to waste time on that. But there you're at with that. Apparently, Arsenal to be slapped with a fine after 6 players booked in crunch Premier League win over Liverpool. Best 25 grand we've ever spent in recent years, then, really and truly. It's all for the cause, and it's needed, really. So, yeah, that's that. On the topic of off-field stuff, people, as you lot know, Arsenal would have changed their London Coley based, and we've got a new sponsor there. Apparently, that's bringing in us 15 million, and there's no downside to that impact on FFP, which it couldn't. If we're struggling for finances and we're bringing money in, then obviously things are happening. So, yeah, it seems like every day we wake up, there's new commercial ventures that Arsenal have explored being announced. Long may it continue. Allegedly, Arsenal are set to sell Thomas Partey this summer as they aim to raise funds to sign Martin Zubimendi. How much realistically is Partey going to bring? Because since he signed for Arsenal Football Club with last season, where he was fit for 40 games, 33 in the league being an anomaly, unfortunately, for all his quality, you mentioned injuries, and he's on the wrong side of it. Terrific player, quality player. You know, if being a good footballer was it, I don't think there's many clubs that wouldn't inquire about Partey. And being interested is very different, but he's still linked with the Juventuses, with Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, primarily Saudi Arabia. You know, he's still got another year in the summer, I believe, on his deal. And there's some rumors there's an option of another year. But, you know, are you going to take on his wages? Even if you don't give him what he's getting paid at Arsenal, he's going to have to be paid handsomely. Are you going to give him that length of contract when you look beyond the ability of the individual and he's not fit? It don't really make sense. And, you know, he's not going to bring in every little helps, but he's not going to bring in a crazy fee for us. That's going to help us sign Zubimendi. You'd imagine KSC inject some funds. Hopefully we confirm Champions League qualification and we're able to inject some funds. We do need to get a move on where outgoings are concerned. And if we're not going to get a transfer fee, free up wages so that they can be put into a pot of resources. You know, Cedric's wages won't be here. Partey will probably be moved on. Kieran Tierney, Tavares, Lokonga, Aaron Ramsdale might leave, and we have to bring in another number 2. You never know what the futures of Reece Nelson, Emile Smith-Rowe, and Eddie Nketiah are saying, and there's probably a bunch of other footballers, people. But I don't really buy that. I think Zubimendi is a player of interest. Clearly, we need to, regardless, even if Partey was fit and playing every week with Declan Rice, we'd need another midfielder. He's played just 5 times this season, really, and hasn't played since October. Yeah, he didn't go off to AFCON. There was rumours he'd be back for Palace, then Nottingham Forest, then Liverpool. Arteta told us he suffered a setback and was very coy and said it could be a matter of days or weeks. But we're at where we're at with Thomas Partey, really and truly, man. It's jarring. He's expected to leave Arsenal at the end of the season when he'll have just 1 year left on his deal. Apparently, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Arsenal are all vying to sign the Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi, which I've spoken about several times. Got a release clause of 60-odd million euros, so 50-odd million pounds. Newcastle are still being linked with Mario Koza-Dewberry, people whose contract is running down at Arsenal. We hope he ties his contract down to the club and stays at the club. He's been linked with Newcastle, Ajax, Borussia Dortmund, and previously Anderlecht, and I'm sure he won't be short of offers, people. Apparently, Arsenal have turned down offers for Tomiyasu to leave the club in the winter. Apparently the club since November have been speaking about a potential new deal, and Tomiyasu's a valued squad member, I believe. He's versatile, he's intelligent. He clearly is able to take on new information, because while he's never going to be the most glamorous of fullback, prior to him going off to represent Japan, which they're now out of the Asia Cup, he was actually showing he's getting to grips with in bringing, in the final third. He's, like I said, he's never going to be Trent or even Zinchenko in that regards, but he looked a bit more confident and offering a bit more. We need Tomiyasu back, and hopefully he's able to stay fit. And for me, big up Zinchenko and Kyrgios, but Sunday we're playing West Ham away. I can't lie. Tomiyasu, you're playing left back for me. Big up Benjamin White, Saliba, Gabriel, and currently Raya. I think that's the back 5, people. Money well spent, the 20-odd million we spent on Tomiyasu. Unfortunately, the only knock you could have with Tomiyasu is that he does pick up an injury or 2 or 3. So, yeah. Finally, people, 3 Premier League fixtures in March have been rearranged, people. Apparently, our game against Brentford at the Emirates on the 9th of March has a new kickoff time at 5:30. Apparently, people, our game against Chelsea on the 16th of March will now start midday at 12:30 p.m. UK time, people. And this game could be rescheduled if tomorrow, I believe, Chelsea are playing Aston Villa. If they beat Aston Villa, then obviously this game's going to get shifted. Our visit to Manchester City in March, I got a bit scared. That's why I started stuttering there. We'll now kick off at 4:30. So hopefully we could do what needs to be done, people, and we can remain positive and whatnot. Now, the games are coming thick and fast. It's nice to beat Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, and Crystal Palace. Obviously, we've got 9 points from 9 points available. So hopefully we can do what needs to be done and just keep it moving, really and truly. I feel like I'm missing stuff out for you lot, people. I feel like stuff's missing. So bear with me. Oh, yeah, this is one thing I would say. I personally think Rafa Leao's best position is as a left winger, but I do think it would take a while, but he'd have to be taught to play up front, and maybe he could. Apparently, he believes he's at the end of his cycle at AC Milan. His priority is to move to the Premier League or La Liga. Now, the Barcelona have the finances for such. Is he high up the rankings at Real Madrid? He has been linked with PSG to ironically replace Kylian Mbappe. I don't think we'll go for Rafa Leao, but that could be something potentially to explore, people. I'm not too sure how you lot feel. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, people. I'm being a bit of a detective, and I'm getting 2 and 2 and making $1 million. But, at some point in January, the rumors in relation to who we're bringing in moved away from a striker, a winger, a central midfielder to a defensive body, specifically a left back. We have been linked with Miguel Gutierrez before, people, who I think Real Madrid have a buyback clause and all of that sort of stuff. Apparently, he turned down a move to the Premier League in January. Arsenal and City have both allegedly previously been interested. So is there something to be said there for what Arsenal did or didn't do in the January market? I don't know. Any other Arsenal news, we'll get into it, people. But yeah, as I said, let me know your thoughts on Timber's return, on how you feel about Tomiyasu. Would you actually start Tomiyasu against West Ham? Would you get rid of Partey in the summer? Would you keep him? How do you lot even feel about the 25 grand fine we've got for allegedly having players booked? And, I don't need to get you started on the celebration police. So, yeah, hit the like button, comment, like, subscribe. As usual, thank you for tuning in with me. I'm out.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think like